This is a case about what happens when an invisible child is entrusted to the care of a malicious or indifferent parent. India Martin was an invisible child. India Martin was a very special 4-year-old girl with very special needs. She couldn't walk on her own. She needed braces on her legs and a little walker to get around. She couldn't talk. She could make sounds, but she could not make words. And she knew a little bit of sign language, but she couldn't talk. She had a feeding tube, and she took most of her food through that feeding tube. India Martin, ladies and gentlemen, did not have the life that most 4-year-olds have. She depended entirely on her caregivers, ladies and gentlemen. Her caregivers being her mother, Jackleen Mullen, and her mother's boyfriend, Tracy. India Martin had become invisible, and she was so invisible, ladies and gentlemen, that no one knew that she had been beaten. Nobody, except for her caregivers, this defendant, her mother, and her mother's boyfriend. So invisible that no one knew that she was badly injured, laying in her bedroom. Nobody, except her caregivers. So invisible that no one knew that India Martin was suffering, laying there. Nobody, except her caregivers. And so invisible that when India finally succumbed to her injuries and she passed away, nobody knew except for her caregivers. Her death was unnoticed and undiscovered until Jackleen Mullen told India Martin's father, Antonio Martin, because when he found out that she was gone, he did what a parent should do. He called the police. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what led law enforcement to the doorstep of 520 General Brace Lane on May 26th of 2020, just before midnight. And that is ultimately, hours later, what led to the discovery of India Martin dead inside a dresser drawer. Jackleen Mullen is charged with murder. Murder is defined as the killing of a person with malice aforethought. It is the taking of a person's life and requires the state to prove that the person acted with malice. She is charged with homicide by child abuse. The law provides that a person is guilty of homicide by child abuse when that person causes the death of a child under 11 while committing child abuse or neglect, and the death occurs under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. Extreme indifference to human life, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, there's a third charge for your consideration. It is akin, sort of like a lesser included offense, aiding and abetting homicide by child abuse.
We've heard about a boyfriend at the very end of the presentation by Ms. Joyner, Audravius Williams. I almost thought I wasn't going to hear his name at all until the very end of this case in that presentation, but he is the focal point in this case for us. And it's important in a case like this, where you have a charged co-defendant who's bought and paid for, looking to get up here and save himself. Why is he testifying? What does he hope to achieve? Hopes to walk out of this courthouse. That's for sure. And the thing is, the state knows from their investigation into this case over the past 3 years that he is a liar. Dre Williams is a liar. And the state can't say anything about it, but they're still going to trot him up here for you.